This video will show you how to replace your ignition coil boot kit on this Toyota Corolla. You'll have 4 of these located under your engine cover. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Under the hood, we're looking along the top of the engine. We're going to remove our upper engine cover. This is going to be held in place with mounting hardware. We have 2 10mm mounting nuts, and along the back side, you should have hardware here as well. Ours is missing. Typically, it'll be a push clip of some sort. So we'll start by removing our 2 mounting nuts, and we can get this cover off of here. Obviously, any hardware along the back side as well. Now at this point, the process is going to be the exact same thing for any one of your ignition coil boots. Let's start with the electrical connector. It has a locking tab. Typically, you can squeeze that in with one of your fingers and pull this out of place. If you find you have a hard time, you could try using a small pocket screwdriver and make your way under the locking tab in this instance. Prior to removing the ignition coil, you need to confirm that there's no miscellaneous debris up along the top here that might fall into your spark plug port. Ours is clean, so we'll continue on. We're removing our 10mm bolt that holds the ignition coil down. With that bolt out of place, let's take hold of the ignition coil and we'll lift it straight up and out. Sometimes a gentle twist will help you out with this process. Once you have your ignition coil removed from the engine, we'll start dislodging our ignition coil boots. Starting down along the bottom, you should be able to take hold of this. We'll give it a twist and separate it from the ignition coil. Be extremely careful not to cause any damage to your ignition coil along the way. We're going to remove the spring that you can see located inside. For this, you can use some pliers, a small screwdriver, or even a pick, whatever's best for you. There we are. Go ahead and recycle that as necessary. Now we have one more boot that we're going to remove from this area. For this one, we'll go ahead and slide it right off the shaft of the ignition coil. Pay attention to the orientation. A thorough inspection of the ignition coil to make sure it's not cracked or damaged in any way. Let's start our installation. We're going with the upper boot first. Make sure you have it in the proper orientation so the concave area is facing down towards the engine. Go ahead and slide that all the way up against the flat surface. Once you have that pressed in place, we're paying attention to that end port. Now, as far as installing this ignition coil spring, you'll find that there's a smaller diameter on one side than there is on the other. We're going to take the larger diameter side and slide it down into the ignition coil, pressing it in as far as possible. Once you feel as though you have that inserted, we're going to continue on with our ignition coil boot down at the very end of the ignition coil. At the very end of the ignition coil, it's important to use some dielectric lubricant directly in the center port. Now we can install the ignition coil. We're going to take the tip of the ignition coil and slide it onto the spark plug, which is located inside of the spark plug tube. As we bring this down, we're also making sure that our mounting bolt port aligns and we have the area for our electrical wiring harness aligned as well. Press that on there as far as possible. We'll start on our mounting bolt. Snug that up. Now I've got my torque wrench. We're torquing this to 80 inch-pounds. Double check to make sure that's secured. We'll continue on with our electrical connector next. Line it up, press it on. After an audible click, a light tug. Now, just as I mentioned before, the process for one is going to be the exact same thing for all others. Once you've completed that, continue on with your engine cover. We'll bring this into position, aligning our mounting ports with the mounting studs. Once we have that rested on, we'll have our 2 10mm headed mounting bolts. Start them on, snug them up. Once you have those tight, continue on with your rearward hardware. Okay friend, we finished our installation. The next thing you need to do is hop in the passenger compartment. Start up the vehicle, make sure you have no check engine light, no running condition, close the hood, take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.